Hey everyone, welcome back to Unfiltered and Unapologetic, the space where we heal in truth, in faith, and with softness, without abandoning who we are or where we come from. I'm your host, Caitlin Gil-Soto, born and raised in Lawrence, Massachusetts, always traveling between Bani and El Cibao, and proudly Dominican. Learning that I wasn't created to carry everything alone, but to receive, to heal, and to live. Today's episode is for the version of you that feels tired of waiting, even though you've done everything right. It's for the part of you that feels stuck, forgotten, delayed, or behind. The you that's trying to stay calm while life refuses to move at your pace. Because waiting doesn't just test patience. Waiting exposes fear. Waiting stretches your faith. Waiting reveals the places where scarcity still lives. Waiting humbles the ego and strengthens the spirit. Today, we're talking about how to trust God when your process feels slow, how to stay grounded when nothing is moving, and how to hold faith, manifestation, nervous system safety, and financial stewardship when your life feels paused. Let's get into it. Waiting is uncomfortable because it threatens your sense of control. We don't get stressed because God is late. We get stressed because uncertainty makes us feel unsafe. Especially for us Dominicans, first gen, children of sacrifice, and other immigrants. Waiting rarely meant rest. It meant there's no money right now. You have to resolve your issues how you can, and let's just wait a little bit longer. So when God slows you down, it activates every survival pattern you've ever learned. I'm behind. Everyone else is ahead. What if this blessing isn't for me? What if I'm wasting my life? But here's the truth. God's delay is not his denial. Delay is alignment. Delay is protection. Delay is preparation. God doesn't give you something you will drop. He gives it when you're stable enough to hold it. I have your first journal prompt here. Where do I feel rushed? And what fear is hiding underneath that urgency? And the affirmation for this question is, I am not late, I am aligned. There was a season where I was forcing myself toward medical school. I studied nonstop. I retook exams. I tried different prep courses. I worked myself into exhaustion. And every time, my score came back low. Lower than what I studied for, lower than my worth ethic, lower than what I knew I was capable of. And I started doubting myself. Am I not smart enough? Did I waste years? Why is God making this so hard for me? Why is everyone else moving except me? But deep inside, it wasn't intelligence. It was misalignment. I was forcing a door God had already closed. When I finally surrendered and said, God, if this isn't my door, close it completely. Everything shifted. The minute I walked toward what actually felt natural, finance, structure, analysis, numbers, doors opened instantly. I got into my grad program with ease. No forcing, no panic, no resistance. It was so smooth, I knew this wasn't just my plan. It was God's. Sometimes the delay saves you. Sometimes the no protects you. Sometimes God lets something fall apart so the right thing can fall into place without pressure. I have another prompt here for you guys. What am I forcing that God might be asking me to release? And the affirmation for this question is, if it's mine, it will not require force. There's a specific pain that comes from doing everything right, but your life still looks still. You feel like you healed, you've journaled, you prayed, you worked on your mindset, you budgeted, you changed your habits, you got serious, you grew, and still, it feels like nothing is shaking. This is where most people give up. Not because they're incapable, but because they mistake silence for failure. But silence is where the miracle matures. Some blessings grow underground. Some seasons shift internally before they can change externally. Some transformations happen in silence before they show up in your reality. I have another journal prompt here for you guys. What am I assuming isn't working simply because I can't see proof yet? And the affirmation for this question is, I trust what I've planted. When life slows down, scarcity gets loud. You're running out of time. You're falling behind. You're losing momentum. You're doing something wrong. Scarcity triggers impulsive habits, overspending, overworking, overthinking, shutting down, rushing decisions, self-blame. But faith whispers something different. You have more time than you think. What's meant for you is not shrinking. Your blessing didn't disappear. It's aligning. Scarcity creates noise. Faith creates quiet. I have another journal prompt here for you guys. What is scarcity telling me today? And what does my faith say back? And the affirmation for this question is, my blessings are not running out. Waiting is not doing nothing. Waiting is preparing. Without panic, without pressure. Here's what actually helps when you're in a season of waiting. First, stay consistent with the basics. Keep a simple budget. Save, even if it's just a little. Track what you spend. Pray. Journal. Give your body real rest. Second, stop forcing outcomes. If something isn't moving, don't push it out of fear. Alignment doesn't come from pressure. It comes from trust. Third, regulate your nervous system. Go for a walk. Slow your breathing. Take deep breaths. Stretch your body. Drink water. Sleep. And pray again. Calm is spiritual too. Fourth, release timelines you didn't choose. The pace of society is demanding and loud, but God's pace is steady, quiet, and always exact. And finally, practice gratitude in advance. Move like the blessing already exists, because spiritually it already does. I have another journal prompt here for you guys. How can I prepare instead of panic? And the affirmation for this question is, rest is part of receiving. Slow progress is still progress. Invisible progress is still progress. Quiet progress is still progress. Sometimes life slows down because you need capacity. You need boundaries. You need healing. You need clarity. You need confidence. You need emotional strength. You need spiritual grounding. Sometimes God is not delaying your blessing. He's maturing you for it. And sometimes the blessing needs time too. Just because you don't see the results does not mean things aren't shifting behind the scenes. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean you are. A seed grows underground before it grows upward, and so do you. I have the last journal prompt here for you guys. What blessing am I rushing that God might be preparing slowly? And the affirmation for this question is, what's meant for me is maturing, even when I can't see it. Now we're going to go into a prayer. Let's take a deep breath. And exhale. Put your hand on your chest. Dear God, if this season feels slow, teach me to trust your timing over my fear. Calm my mind, quiet my spirit, and steady my heart. Show me that delay is not punishment. It is preparation. Help me release timelines that were never mine and step into the life you're shaping behind the scenes. Give me patience without anxiety, faith without pressure, and clarity without fear. And when the blessing arrives, let me hold it with the version of me that waited with strength, not with the version of me that wanted to run. Amen. This was episode 27, Faith in the Waiting Room. A reminder that you are not delayed, you are aligned. If this episode grounded you or helped you breathe a little deeper, share it with someone who needs this message today. And remember, you can grab my blank journals on Amazon if you want a guided space to process, reflect, and stay connected to your healing and your financial clarity. The link is in the show notes. If this podcast has been supporting you on your journey, you can also support the show with a monthly contribution directly through Buzzsprout. The link is also in the show notes. Your support helps this community grow. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Unfill and Unapologetic Pod. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for choosing faith over fear. And thank you for waiting with intention, not anxiety. I'll see you in the next episode.